Mr. Squidward, welcome to the night shift.
And once again, everybody, a pleasant good Sunday evening, and welcome in to another edition of the MI6 Sports Network's late night sports talk show. That, of course, folks, is The Night Shift on episode number 24 on this November 15th and Sunday night, 2020. Per usual, folks, joined by the resident Asian Skip Bayless of our network and, of course, our fellow MI6 late night owl co-host, our buddy Isaiah Leung from the Garage Studios up there in Fremont, California. Yours truly, Callan, McClurg, joining you here from the home studios in San Diego. Of course, Isaiah, another loony and wacky day of NFL football. Getting ever so closer, buddy, to both the Thanksgiving holiday, but also as well, man, a couple of other things, of course, planned here on the MI6 Sports Network in regards to the NBA draft. And again, the other programs we'll talk about later on in the show. But of course, Isaiah, good to see you, buddy. And as usual, welcome to the night shift, buddy. How's it going tonight?
Oh, it's great to see you, Callan. You're right. It's been another loony, fun, corrupt day of NFL action. I lost my voice partially because of the Niners and Saints game. I'm pretty sure we're going to talk about that later on tonight. But yeah, if you guys don't hear me screaming that loudly tonight, it's because you guys can thank the officials from today's Niners and Saints game for that absolutely horrific call. But man, I'm excited to come on here, talk some football, talk some Lakers basketball, the huge trade that we made today. I'm looking forward also to our blooper of the week segment, our second edition of blooper of the week. And ladies and gentlemen, we have a new change on this program tonight. Normally, I have a cup of coffee with me on the program, but tonight there's no need for caffeine because I'm all energized. So we brought in the M&M cookie that we got tonight on the show to help power me up. I'm ready. I hope you guys are ready for a great program as well. Let's do this, Callan.
I agree. And of course, folks, as a reminder, the night shift comes your way here on the MI6 Sports Network every Tuesday, Saturday, and Sunday, late night at 10 o'clock Pacific time. Again, for any of our loyal viewers out there who, again, may have been away from their phones, aren't able to watch games or catch up on the news, though, throughout the course of the day, we try our best and give you a Cliff Notes version of your sports day throughout the evening on Tuesdays, Saturdays, and also on Sundays here inside the MI6 Sports Network. And again, we do our best to do so. And as usual, folks, we'll take your input, your questions, your comments, or your concerns throughout our program tonight by firing away in the live chat box. And also, though, folks, again, we are on milestone watch here, folks, on the MI6 Sports Network. We've been this way, though, for a while. But, folks, throughout the program, you may, in fact, see this banner below us here between Isaiah and me flash every so often. Because, folks, as we've already said plenty of times here, but we are right now 49 listens away from the 2,000 mark and milestone on the Anchor podcast app. But as a reminder, folks, that is with any podcast listen that's on Anchor, Spotify, Apple. As long as you listen to the podcast, that will go towards our count. So, folks, for the remaining part of this week, you will see the Anchor listens countdown and tally on screen throughout the course of our programs. We'll even update it live for you folks, as in fact we inch ever so closer to the 2000 podcast listen. Of course, Isaiah, before we get to all the sports coverage, man, we've talked about this so much over the course of mainly recently, because as we have talked about, though, man, so many times, though, where we have talked about the 1,000 listens, the 1,500 listens, the 4,000 Facebook likes, and, a running gag in our pre or post show group, in the pre and post show conversations between the group chat, Isaiah, is, if we had championship banners up of all of the accomplishments that we have gotten since April or May or June or July, though, we'd be sitting at 11 championship banners with either Facebook likes at 1,000, 2,000, all the most viewed shows of every single one of our programs here, but also the podcast apps. The podcast app listens have also been a very big talking point, though. And as we've already mentioned, though, again, 49 listens away right now, Isaiah, from our second major milestone in just over a couple of weeks here via, again, all the loyal listeners listening via the podcast app or through their podcast app. Isaiah, as again, man, we have this on screen throughout the course of the week, though, man. For someone, again, who's been a part of the network since the founding day of you and Trevor and all the guys, basically, and of course, our buddy Sherable Steve, anytime, Isaiah, that you see this network eclipse a milestone of some type, whether it's Facebook likes, Twitter follows, podcast listens, or, of course, the records or the shattering number of views on the Facebook live streams, Isaiah, what does that mainly mean to you as, again, one of the guys that helped start this thing at the early part of maybe the pinnacle point of the pandemic back in March? Isaiah, you're muted, buddy.
Every time I see that we reach a milestone, I'm extremely humbled because, back when we started this thing, we didn't even think that we would get past 100 likes on Facebook. And now we have over, I believe, 4,000 likes on Facebook and, on Anchor. Like, I didn't think that we would get to 100 listens for our podcast because we weren't really that well known at that time. And now we are at almost close to 2,000. So, it's been an unbelievable journey from starting this all the way until where we're at right now. It's been so fun to do this every single night, whether it's the night shift or Wild Sports Talk or No BS. It's just so much, or even Fan Response. It's just so much fun to come on here and talk sports each and every night here and entertain our fans. And I'll tell you guys this, personally, I've been really moved by this network because before we started this network and before the pandemic hit, I didn't really know what I wanted to do in life. I had been wrestling with that for a long time. I wanted to do something in sports, but, I was thinking about either going to coaching or, becoming a future general manager or, doing something in sports media. I know I wanted to do something in sports. I just didn't know what I wanted to do. And, doing these shows with you, Callan, Furman, John, Trevor, Steven, Ryan, every single day, it's just really helped me break through about what I wanted to do in life. And that is, I want to work for either ESPN, Fox, or, CBS, just talk sports every single day, because let's face it, this doesn't feel like work. It's so much fun, and I look forward to it every single night.
So again, folks, you'll probably see this number change throughout the course of the week here. Again, we are inching ever so closer to, as mentioned, 2,000 podcast listens. And again, folks, you can, as we always have here on screen, if you're watching us via the live stream tonight. But as usual, on our scrolling bottom line, we, of course, have the information where you can, again, subscribe to us via your podcast app or the Anchor podcast app. And again, we thank all of you again for your outstanding support throughout the entire course of the last several months. And again, we'll do our best to keep this going beyond 2,000 listens and to hopefully when we get to 10,000, all of us are going to be getting ourselves like the YouTube play buttons of maybe a pair of headphones that will say 10,000 Anchor podcast listens. But again, folks, this number will in fact update as more time does go on here today. Isaiah, back over to you.
I got a better idea, Callan. Instead of the headphones, if we get to 10,000 listens, how about we all take a trip to my native Hawaii and do a show from Hawaii? That would be so freaking amazing.
I'll keep that up in the memory banks. It sounds like a very, very good idea. But once more, folks, our countdown to 2,000 will be on screen throughout the course of our programs here as time does in fact move on here today. With that, folks, over to the sports world. Week 10 of the NFL season kicked off today, or at least continued on today, I should say, on this Sunday. First game up for the day, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers trying to get back on the winning ways after an embarrassing blowout loss at the hands of the New Orleans Saints last week, and did that with a lopsided 46-23 victory over the Carolina Panthers in another pivotal NFC South matchup today. Isaiah, I will say this, man, there probably is no better player out there currently in any sport, in my mind, that knows how to bounce back after losing a game in blowout fashion or blowing out or losing a game in general, in my mind, than Tom Brady. Kobe Bryant was that way for his career, and other guys were like that. But Isaiah, I don't know if I've seen Brady ever come back in that capacity from being blown out in a game the previous week again, lopsided score 38-3 New Orleans. And he comes out and Tampa Bay goes out there and rolls and wipes the floor clean with the Carolina Panthers on Sunday. Now, again, Teddy Bridgewater did, in fact, folks, suffer what appeared to be a very nasty knee injury. But per reports, though, it's all good. And also, they were without Christian McCaffrey as well tonight, or today, I should say, with his shoulder injury suffered versus KC. Isaiah, in your mind, what really changed, though, in regards to Tampa Bay from last week to this week in their lopsided victory over the Panthers in your mind, and why?
Well, Callan, do you remember last week Sunday when we were both sitting here and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers had just been crushed by the New Orleans Saints, and you asked me what happened in this game, and I told everybody out there, relax. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers are going to be fine. Stop freaking out. Stop saying, oh, yeah, the Buccaneers suck. They're not going to make the playoffs. Tom Brady's washed up. Just have a sip of beer and relax. And what happened today? The Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they relaxed and they had fun on the field, and they bounced back with a nice victory over the Carolina Panthers. Ronald Jones ran absolutely wild in this game. Mike Evans, he bounced back nicely. He had a hell of a game. He had 6 catches, 77 yards, and a touchdown. Chris Godwin as well. He had 6 catches, 92 yards, and also Gronk had a touchdown as well in this game. I think what turned this game for Tampa Bay was what we said last week that was very crucial to the Buccaneers' success that they didn't do against the New Orleans Saints, and that is run the football. When they run the football, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are a more scarier offense than when they are just a pass-heavy football team. When the Buccaneers get that ground game going, every team in the NFL should be trembling. And that's what they did today. They got the ground game going with Ronald Jones. I think he had 100 plus yards rushing and a couple of touchdowns. He was fantastic in this game. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers, going forward, they need to rely on the running game heavily instead of going pass heavy, and that will help them be a more scarier football team.
Like I said, though, Isaiah, is that, Tom Brady and this Tampa Bay offense went from being anemic at best, if not woefully bad last week, to being back to a fine, well-oiled machine this on Sunday today. With how things looked last week and then today, I think they were over 500 total yards of offense for Tampa Bay in this ball game. And, Carolina found really no way to either stop the running game or for a bit, though, I think they were able to contain the passing game for a bit, though. But when Ronald Jones had that touchdown run from inside their own 5-yard line, and he missed those 2 tackles, and he was gone and all the way into the end zone, that was probably the big, backbreaking moment for Carolina. But also they did their best, though, to kind of keep things very, very close, though. However, not having Christian McCaffrey, though, in my mind, Isaiah, really, I think, dooms Carolina in this ball game, because I know that you really can't rely solely on one player to be the guy. But Isaiah, I'm going to make a very weird and off-the-wall comparison because, like I said, I watch a lot of sports documentaries and I'm a sports history nut. But I would say that Christian McCaffrey, in a way, reminds me of what Walter Payton was for the Bears pre-85. It was a one-show pony on offense in regards to you had to rely on McCaffrey and or rely on Sweetness to run the ball right, run the ball left, and go through the jet sweeps and stuff like that. And they're constantly, in my mind, taking beatings and getting injured or just taking the brunt of the hits on the offense because of the Panthers not really being able to really be very, very anemic, pretty much at this rate. But again, folks, and once more, but Tampa Bay is able to get back on the winning ways and take down the Panthers 46-23 from Bank of America Stadium down there in Charlotte, North Carolina. With that in mind, though, folks, some thoughts from the MI6 viewership here. Of course, my good buddy Bryce Russo writing in. Hello, everybody. And what a victory for the Pats. Still alive, 4-5 on the season, playing Houston next week. Hope all is well, by the way, guys. Wish good health for you and your family. We're going to have Bryce on, actually, in about a week or so, post the Thanksgiving holiday. I'm going to put that out there, but Bryce will join us eventually. Or actually, I should say, following the Thanksgiving holiday on one of our programs sometime very soon. Our good buddy Casey King and our resident Rams fan saying good evening, everybody, to you guys. And also, how about the Rams' big win in over the Seahawks today? Now in a 3-way tie for the NFC West Division. Ooh, that wild, wild NFC West is going to be fun to watch.
Could have been a four-way tie if the 49ers somehow, some way managed to win that game today. But unfortunately, or not a four-way tie, but they would have only been one game back.
Still
but unfortunately, as they always do, they failed me.
So close, but so far. James Gonzalez ready to say hello, everybody. Angel Berrigan Jr. Say hey, hey. What's happening, everybody? Casey also writes in almost a perfect day for him as the Rams win, the Niners lose, the Chargers lose, but the Cardinals win on a lucky Hail Mary play. The Bills should have had that game. Oh, well, it is what it is, and I'm happy that the Rams won. You know, Isaiah, we don't actually have that game on the rap sheet tonight, but what a game between Buffalo and Arizona today at State Farm Stadium, and also 2 touchdowns in the final 36 seconds. For one, Josh Allen to Stephon Diggs, but Kyler Murray eluding the pressure and somehow, some way, man, throws a bomb with 1 second left, and DeAndre Hopkins is triple teamed, and he still goes up, makes the grab for the touchdown and for the victory for Arizona. What a phenomenal game between those two ball clubs today in Phoenix. Oh my gosh.
My thoughts on this is, what the hell were the Bills defenders doing? You are taught in secondary 101 when that play happens, every time a Hail Mary happens and the ball is thrown deep and into the end zone, don't go and try to intercept the ball. Knock it down. That's what you're supposed to do. But the Bills defenders, instead of doing that, they decide to go for the interception, and DeAndre Hopkins reaches his hands in there and gets the ball, and ends up being a touchdown and a miraculous win for the Arizona Cardinals. And now they are in a 3-way tie for first place in the NFC West. Just unbelievable.
I'm waiting for somebody to write the Wikipedia page about whatever they're going to call that catch, and it's going to live in NFL lore forever again with the last-second heroics of Kyler Murray as they knock off Buffalo. Some more thoughts here, Isaiah. Angel wants to congratulate us in regards to the success that we've had, and also can relate with him running a SoCal Sports and SoCal Memories bank page as well. Angel's a very big fan of the good old days and nostalgia, as much as I am with nostalgia as well. Casey King agrees. Congrats to you fellas on the show, and loving the program, and glad to be giving my thoughts on this awesome program. Well, we appreciate everyone being here and doing so. Sports commentary from Angel next Monday. Rams Bucks. Need I say more? It's going to be one great game down at the new Sombrero in Tampa. James Gonzalez, even after a rocky start, Tampa Bay had fun again, scoring 46 points. And again, Tom Brady, I think Isaiah saw stat though that they had gone 7 or 8 straight drives scoring points in this game today. Talk about efficient offense.
Yeah, I mean, they had fun. That's what happened. You know, like, they had fun. They didn't have fun against the Saints game in the Saints game because their offensive line couldn't block anyone. And then Bruce Arians, he makes the change by switching Ryan Jensen, who is their center, to, I believe, left guard, because they had a void at left guard, or the left guard wasn't playing extremely well. So they make the move to switch Ryan Jensen, their center, to left guard, and then A.Q. Shipley, who Bruce Arians trusts a lot. He's a veteran center. He gets put in as the center, and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers offensive line ends up getting transformed, and they start blocking much better than they did last week. I think with the combination of the offensive line playing much better, the running game getting going in Tampa Bay, emphasizing the running game, that's what helped the victory today for Tampa.
Casey writes in about the upcoming Bucks and Rams game. It's going to be a good game and can't wait. Sure, Tampa sports fans want some revenge for the Dodgers winning the World Series over the Tampa Bay Rays. James, about the Teddy Bridgewater injury suffered today, always hoping for the best for Teddy. 2 gloves Bridgewater. Gotta love that there's a quarterback out there who wears gloves on both hands. Very rare to see that nowadays. Angel says it's justice for the Rays, LOL, if in fact that happens. And also Angel says, or actually, Angel does in fact say, going to be a shootout. Can't wait. I hope it's a shootout because, both those offenses are good and also both defenses are good. It's going to be a very great game, though, next Monday night. James writes in, the 98-yard run was fun to watch by Jones. Literally everyone on the Tampa Bay offense got in on the fun today in some capacity, where, again, they weren't able to do that, Isaiah, against New Orleans last week.
Yeah, I totally agree. Like Brady started getting everyone involved in the offense, but it's because he had time to throw the football. Like last week, he didn't have time to throw the football, but the offensive line played much better in this game. And Callan, it's really funny how when an offensive line actually plays well, you look like a totally different team. But when an offensive line plays bad, you look like a complete scrub of a ball club.
I
And
mean,
that's what happened.
talk
Yeah.
about just talk about the fact that you go from scoring 3 points to 46 points. I mean, you want to talk about a 43-point difference in games? My goodness gracious, crazy.
Yeah, totally agree. That's why you need a good offensive line to win.
Absolutely, for sure. Some more thoughts here. Angel said TB went from being Trent Dilfer, back to being Tom Brady today. I mean, very rough game for Tom. Terrific last week, and also with that in mind. Casey says, got to show some love to Ronald Jones, the former Trojan who looked good for the Bucs today. Again, that 98-yard run was, in fact, very awesome. James, about my perhaps ludicrous comparison to Christian McCaffrey and Walter Payton, he says, that's not a bad comparison, actually, Callan. Walter Payton is easily my favorite player of all time, and I think anyone out there that's a football fan loves or respected, Walter Payton in some capacity. But again, that more so just for me comes from watching the 85 Bears doc. Again, if you have ESPN Plus, got to watch that 85 Bears documentary. But again, Walter was basically the main guy with Chicago before the 85 season and before they had a decent quarterback in the punky quarterback that was Jim McMahon. But Peyton and McCaffrey, in my mind, are very equal in my mind because of it's a one-trick pony on offense in regards to how they have looked so far with both the Panthers and the Bears back pre the 85 championship run. Also, Angel says at least the Chargers lost the old-fashioned way, at least for a change. They still lost the game. Isaiah Tyler Work probably has the best comment so far for our NFL segment. He says, got to give tons of credit to Arizona's undisputed MVP of the season, Bill O'Brien. I think a lot of Arizona fans are, in a way, borderline Texans fans because of the trade that was made between both clubs earlier in the season. And also, Angel says that's why we play 60 minutes there, Buffalo, in regards to them losing that game down the stretch. James also writes in that Hail Mary was easily one of the most impressive plays ever. I mean, it's got to be because, Isaiah, you're talking about, a quarterback in Kyler Murray scrambling out of the pocket at about midfield, probably, maybe barely inside of Buffalo territory, throws it up there into triple coverage, and somehow, some way, his guy can get up there and make the grab to win the game, literally 35 seconds prior to them probably losing this game with the Josh Allen to Stephon Diggs touchdown. Isaiah, you're muted.
That's what you need to win in the NFL. Sometimes you just need luck, and Kyler Murray got extremely lucky there. He just heaved one into the end zone, and his guy just happened to be right there, and somehow, some way, triple team, somehow still gets it. I mean, Kyler Murray, you got to thank your lucky stars tonight for what happened.
Angel also says that Callan's Bears would have been a dynasty that could have won at least one more Super Bowl. A lot of the guys that actually played for that 85 team with the Charles Martin incident where he became like the face of unnecessary roughness, where he literally picked up Jim McMahon and body slammed him on his shoulder, and they chose to sign Doug Flutie over Steve Fuller and Mike Tomczak. A lot of the defensive players said that they could have won at least one more or two more or three more if they would have had a better quarterback option than Doug the Midget Flutie. They called him back in the day. But again, folks, Tampa Bay over Carolina, 46-23. And already, as well mentioned, but Buffalo Buffalo falters, I should say, 32-30 against the Cardinals on a last-second Hail Mary against the Cardinals after going ahead with 36 seconds to play in regulation time to lose that game as DeAndre Hopkins catches a Hail Mary pass with 1 second left in the game in triple coverage to beat Buffalo for Arizona. Next game up here, Isaiah, we're going to go to the Washington football team and the Lions. And again, folks, this game was also pretty insane for the Lions building a 21-3 or 24-3 lead. But Washington scores 21 unanswered points, goes ahead by a field goal, only to have the Lions kick 2 field goals, including a game-winning 59-yard kick from the man himself, Matt Prater, to win the ball game for the Lions at the final gun, where literally, Isaiah, we've seen Matt Prater kick some very impressive field goals in his career, man. But I'm talking about a 59-yard field goal. I know, of course, indoors at Ford Field, but literally, man, from the midfield Lion logo, he makes a 59-yarder to beat Washington after the defense just totally falls asleep on the job and gives up 21 straight points to the Alex Smith-led Washington offense. Isaiah, probably one of the better games on the schedule today that boiled down to, I know it was 2 very bad teams, but Isaiah, nonetheless, though, a great comeback led by Alex Smith, again, getting another one of his starts after missing almost 2 years of time with that very serious leg injury. And Washington almost, man, pulls off probably one of the better comebacks so far on the NFL season. But your thoughts?
Wow, my thoughts on it is that's another guy that needs to be thanking his lucky stars. Matt Patricia, you are a defensive guru. The Detroit Lions hired you because of your defensive acumen, and you give up 21 straight points to the Washington football team, who their offense is woefully bad. I mean, my God, man, like, you were supposed to fix this defense this offseason because, like, the defense has just been really bad the last couple of years under you, but it looks like that you haven't fixed this defense. And, you know, if you go into the playoffs somehow and you make it, you're going to get whooped in the first round of the playoffs because you're probably going to give up over 30 or 40 points a game because your defense just can't stop anybody. But, you know, Matt Patricia needs to be thanking his lucky stars. Matt Prater saved his ass. Matthew Stafford also saved his ass. If the Lions had lost this game today, I think there would have been a real possibility that Matt Patricia would have been fired on Monday, given the fact that he's on the hot seat right now. And I think last week they had an embarrassing loss, and which really set them back in terms of the playoff picture because Detroit, I believe, had won 2 in a row, and then they lose last week. It was a very winnable game. They lose, and then this week, if they had lost to the woeful Washington football team, I think Matt Patricia would have been gone because he has such a short leash in Detroit. But Matt Patricia, once again, needs to be thanking his lucky stars after this extremely lucky.
And I think a lot of the players as well, per reports I had gathered, Isaiah, were celebrating their bye week like they were celebrating with cigars and beer and being away from the head coach. Real quick, though, Isaiah, we have an update, actually, via the Anchor podcast app for listens. 1952. We have gained 1 during tonight's program. We're now 48 away from the 2,000 mark right now. Isaiah's he's pointing at himself. What, are you taking all the credit for this listen?
It was me. I had my my iPad on like a separate desk, and then I just had it played on one of our podcasts from last night.
Oh, you got to be.
So there you go. I'm contributing to the network.
Hey, we listen too, folks. Believe me, we do in fact listen. But again, it's mainly it's a little bit of us, but more so all of you fans out there that are driving this number, not us. But again, we've gained 1. But again, folks, we're going to keep this updated for you folks throughout the course of the week here on the MI6 Sports Network. With that, Isaiah, though, you know, more so, I think, though, that this game, though, boils down in my mind, though, to how, in fact, the Washington football team comes back in this ball game, because it looks like it's 21-3, 24-3, like, okay, this game's over. You know, maybe this is going to be the time that the Lions win another game, though. But I will say, though, Isaiah, that Washington, that I know that they have a lot of problems, quarterback issues, you know, bad offense, a lot of off-the-field issues perhaps plaguing the organization. But, Isaiah, this team did not quit. And I think that's all you can probably ask for, though, for a ball club like Washington, who's not going anywhere this season. They're obviously dead, buried, and gone right now, perhaps in the NFC East division, which again is still somehow, some way up for grabs right now at this rate of the season. But I think, though, I got to give a lot of props and a lot of respect, though, to the homegrown product here, Alex Smith out of San Diego, California, for his tremendous comeback, but also as well leading this team to nearly a perhaps somewhat of a very huge win for that club as time has gone on. Some thoughts here real quick about the Lions winning at the final buzzer at home against Washington here today. From James Gonzalez, he says, Prater is so clutch this season, in all of the Lions' victories. Matt Prater's had one hell of a career, though, from Denver. I think he had a record there at one point with the Broncos, and, of course, now kicking indoors with the Lions. And, again, he makes a 59-yarder, 59-yard field goal, Isaiah, where literally the ball man looked to be right on the main of the Lion logo at midfield. It was that far away, and it was picture perfect right down the pipe. Lost a bit of its steam, though, but still, though, enough to make it through. But, man, I know that kickers are probably not valued a lot in football, but, man, some of these guys are just impressed with how far they can kick that ball. It's insane.
Yeah, and Callan, this wasn't even his furthest field goal he's ever made. I think he holds the record for the longest field goal in NFL history. I think that was 65. I might be wrong on that, but it was in Denver. He kicked either a 64 or 65-yard field goal to right before the half. I think it was against the Detroit Lions as well to give himself the record.
Full irony if that happens.
Yeah, Matt Prater, he's one hell of a kicker.
Also, Angel writes in, very happy for Alex Smith, should be comeback player of the year. I think all of us are in mutual agreement with that. James Gonzalez, Stafford, and DeAndre Swift did so well offensively, especially Mr. Swift, who, again, should have given the Bears a loss in week 1 of the season, but stone hand, sadly, in Motown. Casey King says that Stafford needs to be on a better team, maybe Chicago. I don't know, Isaiah, what do you think about that?
I like the move, but I just don't know if Matt Nagy wants to move away from Nick Foles, because let's not forget, Nick Foles is Matt Nagy's handpicked quarterback. He was the one that went into Ryan Pace's office and said, I want you to go get Nick Foles because I coached him when I was the offensive coordinator at Kansas City. So I think all of his eggs are in the bucket of Nick Foles, and I think he's going to ride and die with Nick Foles.
Definitely agree. And also, we'll have more about the Vikings and Bears game a bit later in our segment here. Also, Angel says, as does Chardol Isaiah, magic number is 48. So just like we're clinching the division title for baseball here.
The magic 48 ball, Callan.
I don't have one, sadly, but I'll just do this like I'm playing craps at the casino instead. James Gonzalez writes in to say Alex Smith made his case for a comeback player of the year today. I think more, honestly, Isaiah, him just playing in a game in general should have given him that award because, gruesome leg injury, 17 surgeries, the fear of losing the leg as a whole, and him just getting back onto a field after 2 years is worthy enough, in my mind, of comeback player of the year. Would you agree?
Oh, I completely agree. I mean, this guy, everybody thought that his career was over when he had that terrible leg injury back to, I think, 2 years ago. And nobody ever thought in the right mind that he would come back and play another game. But Alex Smith, with the resilience that he has, the determination that he has, he fought through every obstacle that he needed to overcome, and he overcame all of them. And, now he's back as a starting quarterback in the NFL. I am so proud of him, man. And he definitely needs to get the comeback player of the year. I mean, if he doesn't get it, then that is an absolute travesty.
Yeah. I mean, if he doesn't get it, I don't really get where these voters are coming from. And that actually happens with him not getting it. And also, as well, Angel says about our countdown to 2000, we should have a scoreboard like they use telethon to count down how many we're at. That's being done manually by me behind the scenes with that banner being updated, kind of like how we show the comments here. All that is being manually controlled here behind the set. Also, real quick, James Gonzalez says, I always thought that Stafford should have been dealt to Pittsburgh. Maybe, who knows?
Yeah, I could have seen that because I think it was last year when Big Ben had that elbow injury. Everybody thought he was done. He was washed. He wasn't going to come back. And, there were rumors that Pittsburgh might go into the draft and draft another quarterback, a younger quarterback to, be Ben Roethlisberger's successor. But Ben Roethlisberger has defied age. And, he's played outstanding this year. Granted, he's got a great defense, but he still played good this year. And now the Pittsburgh Steelers are, I believe, 9-0, and they're rolling, man. They've got a couple of easy games on their schedule still.
Angel writes in, Minshew Mania is ending in Jacksonville. I think that Stafford should go to the Jags. They need some help.
I think they want Justin Fields.
Does Doug Marrone make it past this season?
I thought he should have been fired last year because I thought they should have done a regime change. Like you change out Tom Coughlin, but you don't change out the head coach and the GM, and they've been there for 3 years with lackluster results. It just doesn't make sense. I thought they should have cleaned house last year, but with them at 1-8 right now, Callan, or are they 1-9?
1-8.
1-8, yeah. There's no way that with another dreadful year that they're gonna make it past this season.
Tyler says that Callan's pantomime of playing craps looked way different than how I play. My craps game has way more pleading, cursing, and crying because I don't play craps, Tyler. I go and play roulette, and I lose all my money on Black 3 every single time. Back over to you, Isaiah.
What Tyler is describing is me during every 49ers football game.
Ooh, are we sure about that? Let's see. What do I got here in the archive? Here we go.
What? Oh, my God, you had it! Oh, my God, it was right in your head! Jimmy Ward, you had that big! That would have been the prayer that we need to get back in the game! Oh!
Isaiah, do you care to explain yourself, sir?
Yeah. Well, first of all, I thought we were going to save that for the Niners and Saints topic, but that video, I was just like, you guys know me. I'm very passionate about the 49ers. I hate to see it when the Niners lose. I'm pretty sure you guys are too when your teams play. But that Jimmy Ward had that football right in his hands. I mean, it was thrown right. I think it was thrown like head high. It was right in his hands. If he had picked that ball up, he would probably have gone in for a pick six. And at that point, the Niners were down by 14. Would have cut it to a 7-point game with just 3 minutes left in the game, and the Niners still had 2 timeouts. So that could have been a huge turning point in that game. But no, Jimmy Ward decides to drop the football, and I nearly hurt myself on that play because, as you guys can see, I just jump up in frustration and I just boom fall to the ground. I nearly broke a bone or something.
What? Oh my God, you had it! Oh my God, it was right in your head!
I'm very surprised he didn't crack the back of his skull open when he fell like that. I'm glad he didn't, though.
I completely just fell on the ground. So Jimmy Ward, thank you that I didn't break anything because you would probably have to pay for my hospital bill, buddy.
Casey King writes in, I agree with Callan, or actually Angel says, that's why I play blackjack. I'm kind of in between on blackjack because if I play that's with any casino game though. I mean, I prefer it, but not at the table. I prefer playing in my own little world on a slot somewhere like in the back of the non-smoking area with a cold one. Casey agrees with me, though. Callan, I love roulette. That is my game. I love it just because you have a chance to put it on a color, a range of numbers, a certain couple of numbers, things like that. So, Casey, I agree. When things clear up and we hit a casino, we'll go and take over a table and put it all on Neptune, hopefully. We'll see how things go. And once more, folks, with that game, though, as mentioned, but the Lions hold off Washington 30-27 from Ford Field in Detroit, Michigan here today. With that, folks, clear the lungs. It's time for us to sing again. Come on, Isaiah, get back on camera, buddy. But let's do this, everybody. On a 1 and a 2 and a 1, 2, 3. The Chargers lose again. The Chargers lose again. 60 years of losing. The Chargers lose again. The Chargers lose again. The Chargers lose again. 60 years of losing. The Chargers lose again. But it was not, though, this way in embarrassing fashion like it has been over the past several weeks for the LA Chargers up there in Inglewood. But today, though, more so of a game highlighted by mistakes, though, and also a very young quarterback in Tua Tagovailoa outdueling a fellow member of the first round of quarterbacks this year, and Justin Herbert. The Dolphins win their 3rd straight game and knock off the LA Chargers in Miami Gardens 29-21. The Finns win, rocking their sweet throwback uniforms for this ball game. down at Hard Rock. But Isaiah, this game, though, buddy, went in favor of the Dolphins early, right away, in regards to the block punt from the Charger 1 yard or from the Charger 5-yard line, and Tua Tagovailoa cashing in that touchdown and also putting them up 14-0. But at the same time, though, Isaiah, something though about Miami, man, that I know a lot of people maybe looked at that move of the Dolphins going from the veteran Ryan Fitzpatrick, well-respected guy in that locker room, to a rookie quarterback who had been decimated by a very perhaps life and career-altering injury with that very very sad hip injury at Alabama, and how effective Tua would be though throughout the course of his rookie season or whatnot. Is I know, of course, that was probably a very controversial move, and I know, folks, that a lot of times though that we think about moves like this, maybe in regards to things in general about a certain guy playing here or playing there. But Isaiah, I know, of course, that this probably looked like a very, high risk, maybe a low risk, low reward move for the Dolphins to go from Ryan Fitzpatrick, again, respected veteran in that locker room, to a unproven rookie coming off of a very, perhaps, again, like I said, life and career altering injury. And Tua has done nothing, though, man, but put this team in a position to win these last 3 ball games. Isaiah, your thoughts more so about how, in fact, the Dolphins were able to win again and keep pace in the AFC East divisional race right now with their win over the Chargers at home?
Yeah, the Dolphins are extremely scary, man. They have an electric offense now with Tua Tagovailoa leading that charge. The defense only holding the Chargers to just 21 points. Like, Justin Herbert has been fantastic since he's become the starting quarterback of the Chargers. And, for them to shut him down today was just really good. The special teams, they've been doing it all year, from blocked punts to punt return for touchdowns, kickoff returns for touchdowns. Today, Callan, didn't they have another blocked punt for a touchdown?
They had a block punt but set up a touchdown, yes.
Yeah, their special teams has just been great. This team is rolling on all aspects right now, and man, they're scary. And I think they can make the playoffs this year. They can maybe even win the AFC East. Like, I think right now, Callan, how many games are they back of the Bills? Because I know the Bills did lose today.
Good question. I'll pull up the standings and see what I can pull up for you, but please continue.
Yeah, the Dolphins are scary, man. They're going to be even scarier in the years to come, because not only, like, if you think right now with the pieces that they have on this ball club, like,
Isaiah, to intervene real quick, they're a game back now. They're 6-3. Buffalo is 7-3.
Yeah, man, and plus the Dolphins play the Bills one more time. So that game will be the decider to who wins the AFC East. So I can't wait for this race. It's going to go down the stretch, and the Dolphins, they're going to be a juggernaut for years to come, given the fact that their team is young right now and they're playing really well football, and they have a lot of draft picks in the upcoming years. They might even get a top 5 pick in this upcoming draft with how bad the Houston Texans are. That trade by Bill O'Brien that acquired Laramie Tunsil for a first round pick looks worse and worse by the minute.
And that could be a top 5, is right, with the Texans faltering in Cleveland to the Browns on Sunday, 10-7. Some thoughts, Isaiah? Both Casey and Chardot sing along with us, but they say the Renters lose again. The Renters lose again. Either way, it's still 60 years of losing, continuing on and on. Tyler Work writes in, I can respect that level of passion, Isaiah. As a Charger fan, they've drained all the life from me. I basically look like a statue when I watch the games. I have been there, Tyler, plenty of times, and thankfully now I am that way with the Chicago Bears. So I feel your pain, buddy, believe me. Just not with that organization up in LA now. Angel agrees that this time the Chargers lost the old-fashioned way, as mentioned earlier. But more so, Isaiah James is right, though. The Chargers had too many miscues again. But more so, I look at today, though, as a special teams blunder again with that block punt, but also a very sadly rookie mistake made by the quarterback, Justin Herbert, for that ill-advised throw down the sideline that was picked off by the Dolphins and run deep back into LA territory. Isaiah, once again, though, man, for the Chargers, it's more so miscues again, wrecking their chances of winning a ball game here today against the Dolphins.
Yeah, you can't do this against any NFL team if you want to win a game. You know, you can't turn the ball over. You can't have miscues on special teams, no matter how good you are and how bad that opponent might be. You just can't have that in the NFL. Like, there's just too much parity, too much talent in the NFL. And, you know, we've seen through the years, any team can win on any given Sunday or Monday in the NFL.
Definitely agree with that sentiment. Isaac Wang agrees. In the words of a famous YouTuber, Frick you Spanos. I agree 100%, as is the whole city and county of San Diego, California. Angel and James are in mutual agreement that the Dolphins should go back to the old logo and the throwback uniforms. Isaiah, you know, as often, man, as we see teams throw back to like the glory days, it's kind of like, why did they ever move away in the first place? For example, I enjoyed, or not enjoyed, but when the Patriots, for example, wear their red jerseys with the white helmet and the hiking soldier, that's my favorite, probably NFL jersey of my lifetime, to be very frank.
Well, Callan, I think we both have to disagree. You like the Patriots one. My favorite uniform is actually the Seahawks neon green.
Oh,
Give me the
nice.
Seahawks neon green. It's because it just looks so flashy and so
Fair.
shiny. You know, I think I might be like the only one out there that actually likes the Seahawks neon green. But yeah, I agree with you. You know, like, I don't know why these teams, like, they change from the old logo to the new one. I like the Dolphins old logo. I don't know why they went away with it to this new one. This one just seems kind of bland to me.
I mean, it's more of a modernized, look at the past. I mean, but thankfully you have teams. Thankfully, there's teams like Green Bay, Chicago that don't really mess with their branding. But of course, the Bears are wearing their 1936 throwbacks in a couple of weeks. The Niners, of course, haven't changed in forever, rocking those very awesome gold helmets. Also, real quick, Casey agrees the Dolphins are for real, and I think that they will get into the postseason and hell, maybe win the division title. Especially, I think that at this rate, though, that Isaiah, I think you're right, though, that more so at this rate that game with Buffalo, though, is going to probably be who wins the division title in my mind. Do you agree?
Yeah, 1,000%. Whoever wins that game, if the Dolphins win that game, like, assuming they keep pace right now with where they're at, the Dolphins being one game back, if the Dolphins win that game, they will not only tie the Bills, but I believe they will have the tiebreaker as well. And if the Bills win that game, they will open up a 2-game lead and they will have the tiebreaker, which would basically be a 3-game lead over the Miami Dolphins. So it all comes down to who wins that game between the Bills and the Dolphins.
Angel agrees. Remember, folks, when San Diego, when the Chargers lose, you win. That is definitely the case. And I think we're going to be putting the Chargers lose again, along with the Vikings lose again, on our MI6 Sports Network holiday CD for 2 payments of $19.95. Trevor and I were talking about that off air today. Also, as well, James, though, with a great point, Isaiah. I give the bulk of credit, though, to the Dolphins' defense again in this ball game. And, their defense has probably, though, man, been very underlooked or under the radar throughout the course of the season. But more so, I'd say in the last couple games, though, since the change at quarterback, though, that their defense is really, I think, in my mind, taken a huge step up. And I think major props goes to Brian Flores and the defensive coordinator as well.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. They look like a totally new team on defense. Their defense wasn't really playing that well early in the season, but it seems like with Tua coming into the starting lineup, he's provided a lot of juice, a lot of energy. The same thing that my guy Drew Lock did in the first 5 games of the season in Denver, which he provided a lot of juice, he provided a lot of energy, and sometimes when you have a new quarterback that steps in and gives you that juice, that energy, you play differently. You play more like you're more competitive, you're more locked in. It just takes that new change that comes in, and that unlocks the rest for the Miami Dolphins. And I think that's what that has what transpired here for the Miami Dolphins.
Shareable Steve behind the scenes writes in to say the Dolphins are a half game behind Buffalo. Uh-oh.
Yep, it's all going to come down to that game, that Dolphins-Bills game. I believe it's either next week or the following week.
It's very, very soon, but it's going to have some major, major divisional and playoff ramifications. James agrees, or James writes in, as Chris Berman would say, The Dolphins are 6-3. No one had that prediction. I don't think a lot of people gave the Dolphins a fighting shot in that division this year. More so Buffalo, maybe even the Pats. Certainly not the Jets, though, with that in mind. Also, James says real quick, the new Dolphins logo looks like an insurance company logo before they added darker colors. Fair observation. Also, as well, Isaac, about branding. An example that needed to change was the old Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the Creamsicle Bucks. Old uniforms were pretty bad. I, for one, thought those were actually kind of nice back at the time. Also, Angel says, I get the Pats. It was the 90s when they changed the logo, but now it's time to bring back Patriot Pat. I mean, and probably were the throwbacks a bit more than just one game every year. Also, James says, the Dolphins and Bills racing for the division title. Sounds like we're partying like it's 1999. Remember, folks, Prince wrote an album about that year and said he would never play the album ever again in his lifetime. Also, Angel says real quick, I believe that the Broncos are going to go back to their old D logo perhaps next season. I do like that one. I like the colors. I like that branding as well with the Broncos. And also, James says the Dolphins surge all began with that thrashing of Isaiah's beloved 49ers, where I said that they would beat them too. Remember that. I said that they would beat San Francisco as well. Isaiah, what do you got?
And that's where I canceled the 49ers season.
By the way, Dolphins-Bills, final game of the regular season. Could be the Sunday night finale of the year. So that will have some major, major ramifications if that season is in fact still going on. With that in mind, Isaiah, to one of the two games you wanted to avoid talking about, but hey, you're going to have to, though, regardless, buddy. The Saints taking on your beloved 49ers from the Dome down there in New Orleans. It all went down south once again for the Niners, who now fall out of the race right now for first place with that three-way tie as the Saints win, despite a injury to Drew Brees and his injured ribs, and Jameis Winston coming in to spell the veteran. 27-13, New Orleans knocks off the Saints in this ball game as Isaiah's already covering up his face like he's a pro boxer. Before that, folks, I want to show off more clips here because Isaiah sent 4 or 5 clips into our MI6 host chat earlier today on this Sunday to show us the actual reactions that he gives us throughout the course of the game. We showed this one twice, so we'll show it for a third time, though, right here and right now.
What? Oh my God, you had it! Oh my God, it was right in your head! Jimmy Ward, you had that big! That would have been the prayer that we need to get back in the game! Oh!
But wait, there's more.
We gotta stop them here at 31! Come on! Get him! He's out! They're grabbing his jersey! Throw the damn flag! Oh my God, that's not... We're getting robbed! He's holding him! He's grabbing his jersey! How the hell can he get him? It's nonsense! Horrific referee this is!
Isaiah?
I'm not here, Callan.
Isaiah?
I'm hiding in the bunker.
We can see your head and your orange hoodie on this camera still. You're not really hiding, buddy. Explain yourself and explain how terrible your Niners have become now at this stage of the season.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I recommend y'all to sit back in your chair or sit back on your couch or whatever you're sitting on right now and enjoying this program, and take a drink of beer, soda, pina colada, whatever you're drinking, because this is going to be a long rant. I got a 4-page essay prepared here, so this is going to kind of take a 4-page essay right here. See, I got a 4-page for y'all about what went wrong and also about the pathetic BS pass interference or roughing the passer penalty. So make sure you guys sit back, get comfortable, because this will kind of take a long time. But damn it, Xfinity, really going out at this time? Come on, man. But Callan, first things first. Before I dive into the negatives of this game, let me give a shout out to 49ers rookie defensive tackle Javon Kinlaw. This guy had a career game today. He had his first career sack, and he was very, very disruptive up front, Plus, he broke up several screen passes that were designed to go to Alvin Kamara, which is really significant because, as you guys know, a defensive lineman covering a talented running back like Alvin Kamara is an unfair mismatch. And somehow, some way, Kinlaw held his own. He was a beast out there in the field, just making great plays after great plays after great plays and really helping our defense contain that highly potent New Orleans Saints offense. So, Javon Kinlaw, major props to you. Great job. Hope you keep it up and hope that this translates to great success in the second half. Now to the part that you guys all have been looking forward to, and that is the crap. Before I get into the horrific roughing the passer call, let me just say this. Callan, the 49ers didn't lose this game because of that bogus call. They lost this game because they had a ton of miscues and they didn't follow the game plan that I had for them. Before the game, I don't know, like for many of my Facebook friends, I'm pretty sure you guys saw this on my Facebook timeline. I posted on my timeline that they had to do 3 things in order to have a chance to win this game. Number 1, they had to run the ball heavily and have an effective running game so you could take the pressure off of Nick Mullins' shoulders. The 49ers, let's look at the stats here, ladies and gentlemen. The 49ers ran the football 25 times, which, you know, that's considered running the ball heavily. They ran the football 25 times for 49 total yards. That's right, 49 total yards. That, like I said earlier, that is running the ball heavily, but that is not running the ball effectively, and you can't expect to win games when you only rush for only 49 freaking yards. Secondly, I said the 49ers needed to get the ball out of Nick Mullins' hand quickly because the New Orleans Saints, they have a terrific defensive front, and they're going to be out there to get him all day long. And given our offensive line's massive struggles this entire season, Nick Mullins wouldn't have a chance if he had to stand in the pocket for 9 seconds and scan the football field. So I recommended that Kyle Shanahan use a quick passing game I recommended that Kyle Shanahan use a quick passing game, and what ended up happening was the opposite. The 49ers receivers, they took way too long to develop their routes, which ended up making Nick Mullins stand in the pocket and hold the ball for a very, very long time. And that's why he had Saints defenders all day in his grill. And last but not least, I said the 49ers, they could not turn the ball over because when you go up against Drew Brees and that high-powered New Orleans Saints offense, you cannot afford to give them extra possessions. And what happens, ladies and gentlemen? The San Francisco 49ers, they go out, and this special teams unit, which is always really good for the 49ers and rarely makes mistakes, they muff 2 punts, which gives the New Orleans Saints super great field position deep inside our own territory, which they ultimately scored touchdowns on, and they allowed one of the Saints kickoff guys to run a kickoff back 50-plus yards to give the Saints another possession where they had the ball deep in the Niners territory, and also Nick Mullins had 2 interceptions. Like I said earlier, Callan, you cannot have those special teams miscues where you give the Saints great field position and you cannot turn the ball over that many times if you want to win this football game. The Niners didn't lose the game because of that BS roughing the passer call. Like, that was a terrible call, but they lost it because they kept shooting themselves in the foot with those horrific miscues on special teams and their inability to block the Saints' defensive line, which caused those interceptions. Now to the part that you have all been waiting for, the bogus roughing the passer penalty. Callan, before I get into my rant about it, I think we have a video clip of that play. Can we show it? Ladies and gentlemen, y'all see that crap right there? Callan, can we play that again, by the way? The NFL has officially turned into a sissy league. That was the worst roughing the passer call I have ever seen in my life. And trust me, ladies and gentlemen, I've been watching football for a very, very long time, and I've seen a lot of really stupid stuff. But this is on a whole other level. Look at that play up. Katavius Street, number 95, he hits Drew Brees, and as they are both falling to the ground, he doesn't crush Drew Brees with his body weight. Instead, he rolls to the side, which is what you're supposed to do, and he gets called for roughing the passer because those referees decide, oh, we got to protect one of the goated boys in the NFL. So they decide to throw that damn yellow flag. That is a textbook legal sack, man. Look at the rule book and look up what you have to do for it to be a legal sack. What you have to do is you're supposed to sack the quarterback, and then as you guys are falling to the ground, you're supposed to roll to the side so that you don't put your body weight on it. Well, that's what Kentavious Street did, and he somehow, some way got flagged. It's utterly pathetic, man. Callan, I honestly don't know how you sack a quarterback in the NFL nowadays. You can't touch Brady, Breeze, Rodgers, or even Mahomes with a finger without getting a flag thrown on you for roughing the passer. You can't hit a quarterback high, you can't hit a quarterback low, and now apparently you can't hit them and roll to the side, or it's a penalty. Let's just give them flags and let's play flag football, because that's as clearly what the NFL has become. It's absolutely ridiculous, man. This is the freaking National Football League, for crying out loud. This is tackle football we're playing. If you don't want to get hit, then don't play football. This is so damn soft. It is so pathetic. And I hope that Kyle Shanahan, Robert Saleh, John Lynch, and Jed York and the entire 49ers organization show up to the NFL headquarters and, demand to have a meeting with Roger Goodell, because that was the most BS roughing the passer call I've ever seen. It was horrific. And those referees that made that call, they need to have their reffing credentials stripped, and they cannot ref a single game ever again. That was horrible, and I just don't have any other words to say. It was just pathetic, man, and I went ballistic on that play, but unfortunately I didn't film a video or I didn't record my reaction to it, but I'm telling you, if I had, it would have been a very legendary reaction.
Are you good?
Got it all. Oh, one more thing I forgot. If you guys think that I'm the only one that's fuming about this play, let's look at some professional football players that have played this game. Let's look at Richard Sherman. Richard Sherman tweeted about that play. Makes no sense at all to him. There is literally nothing Kentavious Street can do. He's getting pushed in the back and still tries to go off to the side. Jeff Schwartz, a guy that played offensive line in the NFL. I think he played for the Chiefs, played for the Browns as well. Well, guys, we found it. The worst roughing the passer in NFL history. And Scott Van Pelt, ESPN SportsCenter host, Scott Van Pelt says, I don't know what the San Francisco 49ers defender could have possibly done on this play. He's rushing Drew Brees. His momentum carries him into the quarterback, which is his goal. They collide with an offensive lineman and they fall down. And that's a flag. If that's forbidden, why even rush the passer? This is a terrible call, and I really hope the NFL reviews this and apologizes to the 49ers. It's just the worst call I've ever seen, man.
I mean, the league could apologize, but it's not going to change the outcome of the ball game, sadly. I mean, I get the frustration. I get it all at the same time. But then again, I agree, though, that if you can't hit the quarterback in general, put the red jersey on him. Put the practice jersey on the red jersey and say, no touchy. You touch this guy, you're out of the ball game. Simple as that. Some thoughts here, though. First Angels says the Dolphins' success of late can be thanks to the power of Callan predicting them to beat the Niners earlier in the season. Miami, you're welcome. Also, Angel says the Niners defense was doing good until a couple of idiotic penalties in the third and all went down the drain and right straight to hell. Definitely agree. Not just that play, though, maybe some other penalties, though, across the board with the Niners as well. James says if Isaiah Leung was a head coach, he'd be getting unsportsmanlike conduct penalties like Harbaugh does, jumping around and yelling like he does in those videos. Yeah, he probably would get kicked out of the game too eventually at one point in time as well.
I would make such a great baseball manager, Callan. I would break Bobby Cox's record.
Not in a ongoing pandemic. You would not make a great manager. Some more thoughts here. Angel says, "Hate to say it, but 7-9 for the Niners." Real quick, Isaac is asking you, Isaiah, are we sure it wasn't the same corner blitz in regards to the same call that was made earlier in the game? Maybe.
Well, if he's talking about the Contavious Street one, that's not a corner blitz. That's a defensive lineman going in and rushing the quarterback. I think Isaac is talking about the plays that we had with I forgot the guy for the Saints, Gardner Johnson, that kept just rushing the quarterback. I completely agree with Isaac. I don't know why the 49ers, they couldn't block him. I mean, CJ Gardner Johnson had a free run to Nick Mullins all day long. It was just so frustrating, and I don't know why they didn't make the adjustment.
Angel also says they should rename the league the NFFL. The National Flag Football League. I definitely agree. Casey says the referees are getting worse and worse every season. Pretty close as well. And also real quick, Tyler Work says, things I have done during Isaiah's rant, did my laundry, rebuilt a truck engine, did a complete Marvel Cinematic Universe rewatch, and also learn how to read and write Latin. Bravo, bravo, bravo. Definitely agree. And also, Dr. Vicky is here to troll Isaiah. If you listen closely, you can hear the violins playing for ASP and his 49ers. If you play well the entire game, one play does not lose the game. Typical Niner fan and a sore loser. There you go, buddy.
I need to respond to that. I never said the 49ers lost that game because of that play. If you listen to my rant about why the Niners lost that game, they lost the game because they kept shooting themselves in the foot with, special teams miscues, interceptions, and just can't tackle anyone on defense. But that play was just so utterly horrific that I just had to point it out and rip the NFL for that, because you just can't hit a quarterback now. I mean, I agree with Callan. Why not put the red jersey on the quarterback, or just, hey, forget it. Give all the players flags and let's just play flag football instead of playing tackle football, because that's what the NFL has clearly become.
Angel agrees, though, the National Flag Football League, the NFFL, and also Angel says that Coach Leung would run down the 50-yard line and let the referee have it every single time. More than likely. But again, folks, in this ball game, it is the Saints over the Niners 27-13. One more game for Isaiah to again lose his mind over with the Broncos and Raiders from the Roomba, a.k.a. Allegiant Stadium in Paradise, Nevada. The Raiders continue on the winning ways with a 37-12 victory over Denver in a very, very atrocious ball game for Drew Lock in this game. Also, per reports gathered, folks, was seen on the sidelines cracking a smile while his team is getting blown out of the water by the Raiders, who again keep pace and also keep the pressure on the Chiefs for first place in the AFC West division. All right, Isaiah, you got one more game to talk about, buddy, so go for it.
Well, my thoughts on this is that John Alcorn, if you're listening, man, you were right. Drew Lock is not the answer in Denver. I don't know why I was so hyped up on him the beginning of the year, but Drew Lock has just shown a ton of red flags to me. He can't really anticipate pressure. He, makes really, really bad decisions. Like today on that first pick that he threw, I mean, he overthrew his receiver by more than 20 yards. It was a terrible pick. The second pick that he threw it right to the cornerback in the end zone. The third pick that he threw, I think they had some miscommunication between the Drew Lock and the running back that ended up being a pick. And the last one, I didn't even see the last one, but it was just really it was just a really bad day. He made the Raiders defense look like the second coming of the 1985 Bears. Like, that's just how pathetic of a performance.
Easy.
They won.
Easy now. The Bears won the Super Bowl that year. Take it easy on that one.
The Raiders defense looked like the second coming of the Bears. I mean, my God, it was a horrific performance by Drew Lock and the offense. This stretch of games were supposed to be the stretch of games where they would go in and, try to make a push for the postseason, but instead they've fallen flat on their face. They lost to the Falcons. They didn't show up against the Raiders. I don't know, man. Drew Lock, I think he's done in Denver. He's got like the last 7 games to show that he's the answer in Denver. Or else Denver's going to get a really high pick, and they're going to have to draft another quarterback. But I'm worried about the defense, man. Like the defense for Denver, they've been playing well as of late until the last 2 games. And for some reason, with A.J. Boye and Bryce Callahan and Kareem Jackson all being there, they just didn't show up. I mean, they let the Raiders score 37 points. Bryce Callahan got beat many times in this game. He almost got beat on that Darren Waller play until Darren Waller dropped the ball, which should have been caught for a 75-yard touchdown or a 50-yard touchdown. But still, Broncos offense, they suck. Defense, I don't know what's been going on. Maybe the defense has decided to quit and call it a season, but it's really troubling in Denver. And if things continue at this pace, I'm really sad to say this because I really like him. I think I've been wanting him to be a head coach for a long, long time, but I think Vic Fangio will be gone after this year.
Chicago will take him back with open arms, I'm pretty sure. Some thoughts here about this game, Isaiah, in regards to, once again, the Broncos losing to the Raiders. With that in mind, Angel says that the Niners are 4-6 because of injuries. Couldn't beat a team they should have beaten, and they're now 1-4 at home this season. Of course, you got to win those home games as well. James, proud of my Raiders. Defense was showing up for work today again with 4 picks forced by the Denver offense. By the Raider defense. Casey King writes in to say, the Broncos have to remove John Elway as team GM and clean house and maybe trade Von Miller for draft picks in the offseason. Isaiah, I don't know about this. Now, I know that we have talked a lot, though, man, recently about franchises bringing in star players. Elway in Denver, Magic with the Lakers, guys like that probably don't have the credentials to be in charge of on-floor or on-field operations. Isaiah, out of the circumstances that Casey brings up, firing Elway, cleaning the front office out, and trading Von Miller, which of the 3 probably in your mind is more likely to happen in your mind and why in Denver?
I think you have to clean the front office because when you look at the last couple of years in Denver, I think they've had 2 or 3 head coaches in the span of 5 years, and it's obviously not the coach's fault. You can't just keep cleaning or keep firing coaches after every 2 seasons. Once you do that, you're gonna what the Broncos need to do is they need to stop looking at coaches because they've tried to do that over and over. They need to look at the bigger problem, and that is the front office. And listen, I like John Elway. I think that John Elway, he's a good executive, but he's missed on a lot of picks recently. Like at the quarterbacks that he's drafted, Paxton Lynch, I don't even think he played a single, or he probably played 2 games in the NFL, and he was utterly atrocious. He drafted Drew Lock, that's not working out. He tried to trade for Joe Flacco. Joe Flacco was atrocious last year.
Plus, he was hurt.
They just haven't been able to find a quarterback besides Peyton Manning, which was an obvious move, given the fact that Peyton Manning was the best quarterback on the free agent market. And you had all the teams in the NFL basically at his front door trying to get his services. But other than Peyton Manning, he's just continuously whipped on quarterbacks, on playmakers. I mean, Noah Fant was supposed to be the next George Kittle. This guy's hurt all the time, and when he's on the field, he's not really that productive. The offensive line, they've tried different combinations. They tried drafting offensive linemen, but they haven't worked out. I think Elway has to go, and I think that the Broncos need to bring in a competent GM. For me, I would give Vic Fangio 1 more year because he did have success in the latter parts of last season, so it does kind of give me some hope. And the defense hasn't been that bad outside of the last 2 games, but it's been the offense that has been the issue in Denver, and John Elway just hasn't gotten the competent pieces to put around that Denver offense to make them successful.
Some more thoughts, Isaiah. Angel says, don't be surprised if the Chiefs lose to the Raiders at home on SNF next week. We'll see how things go. Again, the Raiders already own a victory over the Chiefs. I should say that game is going to be in Vegas. They already played at Arrowhead this season, so my apologies for that. James Gonzalez says, Jeff Heath with not 1 but 2 picks on the day for the Raider defense. Tyler Work said it before, Isaiah. Drew Lock is great. when the other team goes to a soft prevent defense? Sadly, that is the very obvious answer. James Gonzalez, Josh Jacobs, again, running hard today for the Raiders. Angel says the Broncos must do a fire sale pronto in his mind. Von Miller's probably that first guy out the door, sadly, after his great career in Denver. Also, Casey King, Drew Lock is not the answer in Denver. Come to that conclusion, I think, very as well. Also, James says one more about this. He says Devontae Booker doing a good job on the ground again as well in the ball game. And also, Casey King, Fangio, better coordinator than head coach. Fair observation. I think he's done good, as Isaiah said, though, the last couple of games last season, but right now, not at this juncture. Also, we have that Angel agrees with Isaiah. Take away Manning and Elway as GM is a total flop. Also, James says John Elway has been looking for his younger clone for years now at the QB position in Denver. And also, Angel says they had a good quarterback in Tim Tebow, but the very second that that the Colts let go of Manning, they go to Manning and dump Tebow. Of course, that's probably a very, very logical answer. But again, folks, in the NFL today, but the Broncos fall to the Raiders 37-12 in Las Vegas. With that, Isaiah, some college football news today. Again, we had a very rare college game played on Sunday between Cal and UCLA, but it's more so a coaching firing at USC, but not the USC folks you're thinking of. The University of South Carolina throws out Will Muschamp today after his time in Columbia. Isaiah, you know, Muschamp, I think, has been a coach we've seen for a long time in many, either recently with the Gamecocks or elsewhere. And I don't know, man, if I really get the whole logic about the firing, more so maybe about the Gamecocks record being a factor. But Isaiah, your thoughts, though, about the college news of at least one USC program firing their head coach over the course of the season?
Yeah, this for me wasn't really that surprising because South Carolina has been struggling as of late. Their program went into a tailspin at the end of last season.
Major tailspin.
Major tailspin, exactly, which cost them a chance at a bowl game. I think they finished 4-8. I might be wrong on that, or 5-7, something like that. But they were really bad towards the end of last season, and they were really bad on offense. The defense was pretty good, but the offense was really, really bad. And they bring in former Colorado State head coach Mike Bobo, who was Georgia's offensive coordinator before he took the job at Colorado State, and they bring him in to try to run the offense. And the offense this year, they've been great they've been pretty good on offense, but now it's the defense that is having problems. And Will Muschamp, his forte is defense. And, the defense, I think they've been giving up over 500 yards a game. Against Ole Miss, they gave up 59 points, 600 yards. They've been going the wrong way ever since this season has started. I completely agree with the move to fire Muschamp. I was actually surprised that they did it in mid-season because now the buyout for Muschamp, if they fired him at the end of the season, was, I believe, $8 million. But now you fire him mid-season, it's $13 million. And given with the uncertain financial situation with COVID, that's a lot of money to eat if you're South Carolina. So I guess they're trying to get into the running or be first in line for one of the top head coaching candidates out there. But I completely agree. I think Muschamp had to go. This South Carolina program was going the wrong direction. And I think Muschamp, like Casey King said about Vic Fangio being a better defensive coordinator than head coach, I think that applies to Muschamp as well. I think he's a great defensive coordinator, not really head coach.
Yeah, and there's definitely coaches out there in my mind that are good at one thing, but if you were to move them out of what they're comfortable with doing, they tend to probably stumble on the way to the finish line. And as we have said, though, about Fangio and also with Will Muschamp, sadly, those two guys not very good going from one spot to another. Casey agrees. Not surprised on the Gamecocks firing their coach, but thought it would have happened at the end of the year, and more so again with that uncertainty, as Isaiah said, though, with the ongoing global pandemic here of COVID-19. James also says that the firing was bound to happen at South Carolina. Casey also says they can have Clay Helton next year. So from one USC to another USC with love from Los Angeles, California. And also Angel says, we were all about to celebrate, laughing out loud. It was the other USC with the South Carolina Gamecocks firing Will Muschamp today on this Sunday. Also, with that in mind, Isaiah, Real quick, Casey wanted to pass this along, though. Pure domination. But congratulations, though, to Dustin Johnson at 20 under par today, winning the 2020 Masters Golf Tournament. You know, Isaiah, for a long time, we did not see a dynasty in the NFL with 3 straight Super Bowl victories. We did not see a Triple Crown in Major League Baseball for a long time. And I don't think we're going to see someone win the Masters, or a golf tournament for that matter, but more so the Masters, by this many shots and with that low of a score. I believe it is a new course record, or a record for the tournament, down in Augusta, with Justin Johnson shooting 20 under par for the 4-day tournament. Isaiah, props to DJ for winning the whole thing. But man, what a great score. What a great weekend for Dustin Johnson. My goodness gracious.
Yeah, he was super dominant this entire weekend. I think the guy that finished in second place trailed by, 10 shots?
I think so. It was a pretty big margin.
It was a blowout. He played his best golf during this tournament, and he showed everybody why right now he's the #1 ranked golfer in the world of golf. So, yeah, props to him. Congratulations, Dustin Johnson, on winning your second major, as a golfer.
And also, I think the best story, though, was his brother, who's been his caddy, was very emotional as he was going to make that final putt to win the whole tournament. So, again, DJ, Dustin Johnson, the 2020 Masters champ in the PGA circuit of golf. With that, though, Isaiah, some moves being made. The NBA draft coming up this upcoming Wednesday. But, of course, Isaiah, a couple of trades, but more so a trade confirmed today. Maybe a bit of a head-scratcher, but not really a head-scratcher. But it is a very interesting move, though, by the LA Lakers. The reigning 2019-20 NBA champs have dealt away Danny Green and their 28th overall pick in the first round to the Oklahoma City Thunder for, right now, I'd probably say, somewhat of an unproven point guard, and Dennis Schroeder, who, folks, we all know has spent time playing between the NBA and also time over in his home country of Germany before he was drafted by Atlanta in the first round, 17th overall in 2013. But now Schroeder will become a LA Laker again in exchange for veteran three-point shooter Danny Green, and also the Lakers' first-round draft pick. Isaiah, I know, of course, that the Lakers are probably far from being done right now. We've had the news of Anthony Davis opting out to perhaps restructure his contract as a free agent to come back and play with the Lakers, and also the rumors of them perhaps looking to get DeMar DeRozan from the Spurs, AD opting out to become a free agent to again restructure that contract. But more so, Isaiah, Dennis Schroeder is probably a guy, though, that I think a lot of people would say is a guy, sadly, a little bit perhaps unproven because of either going to Atlanta during his career, but more so, I think, though, rebounding nicely after his rookie season. I'm looking at some numbers here. His rookie year, Isaiah, with Atlanta, 3.7 points per game, and then talk about improving. 10 points per game the next season, 11 points in 15-16, 17.9 in 16-17. His last year with the Hawks, 19.4, a career high for points per game, 17-18. Goes to Oklahoma City, 15.5 points per game in his first year there, and then now 18.9 in year 2. Now to the Lakers, averaging 14.1 points per game. Isaiah, what do you make about this move? And also, what can Dennis Schroeder bring to the Lakers after what appears to be a very good uptick in scoring post his rookie year with Atlanta?
Well, my thoughts on this move is, you guys all know me. I've been saying this multiple times on various programs here on the network. I wanted Victor Oladipo because I thought that, Victor Oladipo, he would be a great third star for the Lakers. He can shoot the three very well. He's very athletic. He can defend really good. And you would probably be able to get him on the cheap because he's only making $21 million in his final year of his contract, and it would only cost you Danny Green and probably Kyle Kuzma and also your 28th pick, which the Lakers don't really need anyways, because you can't wait for that rookie to take 3-4 years to develop to become an NBA caliber player. So I wanted Oladipo, and then there were rumors that came out with DeRozan, and I said, yeah, that would be my second choice. But I guess apparently Indiana was unwilling to trade Oladipo. I think they're going to try to run it back with Oladipo for the final year of his contract, even though I think that's a bad idea because I think that Oladipo is going to be gone no matter what happens this year in Indiana. There's been reports that he's not happy. He wants to go to a bigger market like Miami or New York or LA. And, he just thinks that the Pacers are on their they have a ceiling. He's not going to win a championship with the Indiana Pacers. And then to DeMar DeRozan, I thought that there was no way Greg Popovich was going to trade with the Lakers. Greg Popovich almost never trades with the Los Angeles Lakers. He hates the Lakers. He's very bitter at the Lakers. So that was never going to happen. So I guess the Lakers just pivoted to the third option, which was Dennis Schroeder. And let me tell you guys this. This is an absolute steal for the Lakers because the Lakers finally get that third option that can come in and contribute for the Lakers besides LeBron James and Anthony Davis. And it only cost them Danny Green, who was making, I believe, $18 million this year. And, Danny Green has fallen off from the Danny Green of old. He's not really reliable from three anymore like he used to. He's a great defender, but he's unreliable as an offensive player. And Dennis Schroeder, I'm looking at the stats here. He's very durable. The year before last season, he played in 79 of the 82 games in the season. And then last year, he played in all 65 of the games for Oklahoma City. He averaged 14.8 points per game. He shot 46% from the field off the bench for OKC. He shot 38% from three-point land. This is a major upgrade for the Lakers. And it really helps fortify their bench, which really desperately needed some help. And the Lakers desperately needed to fortify their bench. And this could be like a Lou Williams for the Los Angeles Lakers, and a guy coming off the bench that can run the offense when LeBron goes to the bench to rest, and can lob passes to AD or, can put the ball down and score the basketball. I really like this move for the Lakers, given the fact also that Rajon Rondo is expected to not be back with the Lakers because he wants like a $8 to $9 million contract, and there's no way the Lakers are going to pay him that much.
Yeah, no cap space probably being a main factor, and again, more so money on the books for next season for Los Angeles. But again, folks, the Lakers acquiring Dennis Schroeder from the Oklahoma City Thunder for Danny Green and the Lakers' 28th overall first-round draft pick in the upcoming draft this upcoming Wednesday. Again, folks, will be on the air to talk about that draft at 3:45 p.m. Pacific time here on the MI6 Sports Network. Some thoughts here real quick about the Lakers and the trade. James Gonzalez writes in to say that the Lakers went the cheaper route or cheaper option at the point guard spot with this move, while Dennis had a great season with OKC last year, learning from Chris Paul and also playing alongside SGA as well with Oklahoma City. And also that Angel agrees with Isaiah that Oladipo would be a great fit for the Lakers. Maybe not this year, but if in fact he is on the market the next year after, totally for sure. With that in mind, folks, we are going to now move on over into a couple of, again, folks, some very important announcements here that, again, Isaiah and I will both echo at the end of the show here as well once we get past the final segment here. But with that, again, folks, as a reminder, coming up this Wednesday, November 18th at 3:45 p.m. is going to be the 2020 MI6 NBA Draft Show. Again, we'll come your way here, folks, to talk about the first round and react to all of the moves that are, in fact, made and all the selections made. Again, we'll have a 15-minute pre-draft show. Then we'll, of course, get into all the nitty and gritty stuff at 4 o'clock when the draft does, in fact, hit the air. Then, folks, on Saturday, the 21st of November at 8 o'clock Pacific time, we will bring you, folks, our Thanksgiving special. Much like our Halloween Spooktacular, will come your way here, folks, and, again, sit here and talk sports for about 2.5 hours and, of course, sit and reminisce and talk about what, of course, we're thankful for through the world of sports, and, again, talk more about the network and what we have planned for the New Year's. In fact, we get close to the end of the very dismal year of 2020. Then also, come the week, folks, of Thanksgiving. So starting that Monday, November 23rd, we're going to be off the air for the entire week, folks, following our night shift episode next Sunday, the 22nd. And again, we'll be off the air, folks, the entire week. We'll probably do our best to have some old programs, maybe, or just combine a bunch of old clips and put a giant watch party together for the whole week. And then, folks, coming up on November 30th, we'll kick off our second live voting bracket challenge, where again we're going to have 31 days of hot takes beginning on November 30th, the final day, folks, of the month of November. It'll be a 32-team tournament with 31 days of matchups, mashing up the best hot takes and also the best moments of the network in its history. As Isaiah says, draft LaMelo, please, Golden State. We'll see how things go come Wednesday. But once more, everybody, draft day show for the NBA coming up on Wednesday. Thanksgiving special on Saturday, the 21st. No programming the week after, folks, to have the week off for Thanksgiving. And again, 31 days of MI6 Hot Takes begins on November 30th. Again, putting a bunch of our great loony takes and, of course, some great memorable moments into a 32-team bracket to have you folks vote for the best moment or hot take of the year that was for 2020 here on the MI6 Sports Network, folks. And also, real quick, we'll go back to Isaiah. What do you got for us, man?
All right. Before we get into the best segment of the MI6 Sports Network, I got to say one thing about the draft show. Ladies and gentlemen, we want to advise you again to please not spoil any of the picks before the commissioner announces that pick on the air. Me, Callan, Ryan, Furman, and whoever comes on, and Steven, and whoever comes on that day for the live draft show, we will be shutting off Twitter starting at 2 p.m. and we will not be on Twitter at all to look at what Woj tweets out, because we want to see it live when Adam Silver takes the podium and announces the pick and react to it in real time. So if you're watching the show that day and you're gonna comment, don't comment any of the picks for us, because we don't want to know until Commissioner Silver announces it.
Yeah, folks, we'll have more about that in the rundown of our events for that day. But again, we'll have a nice little thing up on screen as a reminder. Please do not spoil. Again, it's just like going to a movie. Do not spoil the movie for those of us that have not been able to watch it yet, or perhaps going to be delayed with watching. So please, folks, we'll have more about that later. Real quick, Isaiah, one more quick update on our pursuit of 2,000 Anchor podcast listens. Again, hopefully by our Thanksgiving special coming up this upcoming Saturday. We're getting closer. 45 to go, folks. 1,955. So once more, folks, find us on Anchor or your podcast app. Search the MI6 Sports Network, and again, subscribe. And again, you'll get all the audio, all the podcasts, all the live shows you see on Facebook are going to be audio, or are audio podcasts via Spotify, Apple, you name it. But again, folks, 45 more to go until the 2,000 mark is reached. With that, time for some fun here to wrap up the program here on this Sunday, folks. We do this now every Sunday here on the night shift. That, of course, folks, is the bloopers of the week, or the bloopers of the weekend. And, of course, Isaiah, we have did this last week, had a very great time. And, of course, we'll do that now with, again, some more clips to, again, have some fun here and just laugh in general. With that, Isaiah, up first, bowling gone wrong. You know, there's something about bowling and something about wiping out and just falling flat on your tailbone like you're taking a charge in basketball. And Isaiah, I feel bad for the guy because it was a great shot. He nearly got the strike. He has one pin left. But, man, that's got to be one badly bruised tailbone, my man. My goodness gracious.
Yeah, man, that I feel bad for the guy, but, man, like, for the guy to bowl and then, I guess, slip on the track that you're bowling on and to end up in another lane, ouch. That must hurt.
I think he slips on the lane next to him. Let's go back and rewatch the footage again. So he didn't try to step on his lane, but he went over and happened to slip on the second lane that he fell on 2 lanes down from where he was bowling from. But still, that is one very rough tailbone injury there, Isaiah. My goodness, man.
It looked to me like he slipped on the gutter, like the gutter that was right in his lane and the other gutter. It looked that he slipped on there and then he went crashing to another lane. But yeah, I agree with you. That's gonna be one big bruise.
Man, oh man. I know Jim McMahon had a similar injury after they played the Rams in the 85 NFC title game, and I think he got so exasperated by the media asking about his rear end, he mooned them, I guess, because it was so out of control with how bad his butt or his buttocks had looked throughout the course of the of that. Isaiah, you're on mute, Isaiah, but what do you got for us?
This reminds me of Andrew Bynum. Remember when he went to the Cavs and he got he hurt his knee bowling? They're like, it's not the exact injury, but man, bowling just causes a lot of weird injuries, man.
Bowling's a very interesting sport. We'll move on now to our next blooper of the week or weekend, folks. The Washington Huskies play fetch, literally.
High snap, gets by him. And this is a disastrous start on special teams. He won't even get it away. It's blocked. Chaos out there. Ball's still loose. And picked up by the Beavers. They're going to score. Jaden Grant got to the ball in the end. It's a touchdown for Oregon State. Rashid blocked what was a last-ditch effort to get that ball away, and Oregon State pounces on the special teams mistake.
You wanted to have some fun after dark? No one could have got that. I don't think Tim Duncan could have pulled that one down, and there you see Oregon State trying to pursue. Rashid comes and makes a really heads-up play blocking that kick when he could have just made the tackle. At that point, when the punter's running around, he's no longer protected. Grant picks it up and finishes the play.
Okay, my only gripe with this play, Isaiah, is the fact that the Washington punter tries to punt the ball again and it gets blocked for a touchdown.
What's really funny about this play, Callan, is not only does the bad snap, right, and it goes over the punter's head, the punter corrals the ball 30 yards from where the original line of scrimmage was. He corrals the ball and he's running backwards, and I guess somehow, I don't know why he does this. He tries to punt it again, and instead of punting it forward, he kicks it sideways and backwards right into the arms of an Oregon State defender who just walks in for the touchdown. I mean, my God, I've seen some crazy stuff in my life, but you just can't make this stuff up.
I think more so my gripe is him trying to punt the ball again after the snap goes 25 yards back into his own territory. And literally, I said the Huskies played fetch. Quite literally, they played fetch with the ball on 4th down back in their own end. Next up on the list of bloopers of the week, Isaiah, Vlade Divac playing pro football. My apologies, wrong.
So here's a good tackle. There's your physical play. And then here comes Vlade. Wow.
I'll run that back for you folks one more time.
So here's a good tackle. There's your physical play. And then here comes Vlade. Wow.
That looked like a soccer match right there between Jacksonville and Green Bay.
What did you hear, guys? Did you hear what the announcer said when he said
Vlade Divac plays football?
Yeah, here comes Vlade. Mario's Jack would just that must be the flop of the year, Callan. I mean, that's got to be up there with some of the. I haven't seen all the candidates, but it's got to be up there, man. I mean, come on, Miles Jack. You've been in the league for a long time. You know better than that.
You know, I saw one pretty bad in European soccer. Literally, a guy took the hand of a defender, slapped himself across his face, and then flopped like a fish out of the water. The guy got a card for it, and the guy had to be stretchered off the field. It was glorious. It was really, really amazing. Next up, Isaiah, a moving fail. There goes the big screen television.
Got it? Yeah.
Islamic.
Bro, there's not a more logical way to get the television downstairs from your apartment. You literally do it over the balcony and the guy drops the damn thing.
Well, first of all, I don't even know what the guy was doing because he's holding onto the TV, right? And he's like, I got it. And then he holds onto it. Why do you put it down. I don't understand that. Like, you're holding on to it, and it seems like he threw it down on the ground. But I don't know.
Yeah.
This not making.
You literally could hear him say, "You got it?" He's like, "Yeah, I got it." And then sure enough, it all comes crashing down, sadly. My goodness gracious. That's why I don't really help my friends move, because I'm not very strong, so I'm not even going to help out with that sort of things. I did, though, help a few friends out, though, earlier in August. And also, finally, we've seen it, folks, I think 3 times, but here it is here it is one more time. Isaiah losing his mind about Jimmy Ward dropping a interception.
What? Oh my God, you had it! Oh my God, it was right in your head! Jimmy Ward, you had that big! That would have been the prayer that we need to get back in the game! Oh!
I don't know, Isaiah. I still think, though, man, that the best one is this one right here that still has all of us in the MI6 host chat laughing every week.
Come on, Jimmy, we got to get this first down. Hasty's open! Hasty, oh my God, you take a damn sack. He was wide open. Are you far?
So, Isaiah, you've contributed some very good videos to the host here. What's probably your personal favorite out of the 2 blooper of the week winners from you? Are you fa or what? Oh my God.
I would say what? Oh my God, because and they're both like in a neck and neck battle, but I would say it's that one because I literally fall to the ground and nearly break a bone or break my tailbone falling to the ground. So I gotta say it's gotta be that one.
We do have one more, folks, actually, with the Niners. I forgot my question.
Nick, I forgot my question. Let me come back to you.
Sounds good, man. No worries.
You know, Isaiah, I've been working in sports media for 11 years, and I've had that happen. It's the worst feeling ever when you're interviewing somebody during the course of a pregame, postgame podcast. It sucks, and it's the worst. In my mind, it's the worst feeling ever when that happens to you.
I totally agree, man. Like, I've been doing podcasts with you and John and Steven and Ryan and Furman for months. And then sometimes I'm just like, I'm about to give my point. And then all of a sudden I have a brain fart and my brain goes blank. And I'm like, oh God, what am I supposed to say? But I can't obviously say on the air, oh, Callan, I forgot what I was going to say. And that would be like the most embarrassing thing ever. So I got to make up something and just wing it. But yeah, I feel bad for the guy. Like, cause when you're interviewing a professional athlete, there's a lot of pressure to not like stutter, to not, embarrass yourself, or else you're going to be on the blooper reel like he was tonight. Sorry, Greg Cone.
So again, folks, if you happen to find a blooper that you think we might like, send it to us via the MI6 Facebook page. We'll take a look at it and see if it fits the mold, and we'll put it in for next Sunday's program of the Night Shift. But now, folks, we'll finally call it a night here as you wrap things up and head on over into tonight's Final Thoughts. All right, time to close down shop into the early part of now a Monday morning here as the Bears get to play on Monday Night Football against the Minnesota Vikings at 5:15 on ES, which brings me, folks, to a very important point. We'll be on air with WST with John, Isaiah, myself on Monday, but at 8:30 in the evening to accommodate me watching my Bears play on national television on Monday Night Football. With that, Isaiah, over to you for your final thoughts for this evening, now this early morning program.
Well, Callan, first of all, I want to send my greetings to you and the rest of our audience out there that are still tuning in. I want to wish you all a happy Monday morning, ladies and gentlemen. Time to start frying the bacon, the eggs, and get the coffee out, because it's morning time. But in all seriousness, though, I want to, before I get into my final thoughts, I want to, thank Casey King, Shardo Gupta, James Gonzalez, Angel, Isaac Wang, who else we've got here? Tyler Work, Ted Vicky, bear with me, guys. There's a lot of people. Oh, Stephen Wang as well. And that's it. I want to thank all of our audience for tuning in and viewing the show tonight. It was a very, very fun show, an entertaining show, especially the blooper of the week. That just had me cracking up so hard. But I also want to thank you guys so much for sitting down and listening to my epic 4-page rant that I had prepared. I mean, in fact, during this show, I had besides the script, I had 8 pages printed out. I mean, Callan, look at this. It was like I was doing a school assignment. Oh my God, look at all these papers that I had. Script. 4-page rant. I mean, a 4-page essay about what happened in the Niners game. I mean, I should save this and maybe we can give it to John and have him publish it on SoCal Sports Chronicle. And also, yes, on our website as well. But my final thoughts is I am looking forward to a fantastic week of programming. I hope you guys are looking forward to as well. We've got the NBA draft special. I can't wait to, lose my mind if the Warriors do draft LaMelo Ball or if they don't draft LaMelo Ball. I mean, Callan might have to squeeze one more moment in there if the Warriors draft LaMelo Ball, because I might be running around my neighborhood screaming, saying, the Warriors got Ball. I get to go back to work, make money. Let's go. But
love it.
Yeah, I can't wait for that. Yeah, I can't wait for that show. It's going to be a fun show. Plus, we've got the Thanksgiving special where I'm not going to be eating Cheeto or Doritos on the show. I'm going to be eating turkey live on air, and we're going to be talking about college football. We're going to be picking our rivalry games. We're going to be talking about what we're thankful for, and we're also going to be talking about whatever hot topics that are going on in the world of sports for our Thanksgiving show. And also, remember, guys, Callan, I don't think we're going to have no BS on Friday. Is that correct?
I'm not sure. We will reconvene in our post-show call, but I do know we are, again, folks, going to have some reshuffling here of the deck of cards for our programs. And with that, folks, my final thoughts again. Thank you all once more again for tuning in. But Casey King, though, folks, has a very great point, though. Did, though, want to pass on, though, again, Tommy Lasorda. Hopefully will have a speedy recovery as he's been in the ICU in Orange County here in California. And, again, hopefully all the best to the former great Dodger skipper, that nothing comes more out of it. Again, it's been already a very trying year for all of us. And the last we need to do is have more things happen. By the way, Isaiah, Chardot wants to scold you for eating on air again. No more food, please.
I think we need to make a GIF of me eating Doritos on the show. I think it could be like, Callan, I think it could be like, with the caption, can't wait for Isaiah's next epic 5-page rant.
I don't know about that. No more food on the air, though. I'm sorry. Just I can't deal with food on the air. But again, folks, as usual, again, as a reminder,
teleport it to you.
It's gonna be it won't be here for 8 weeks. I have a bag I can go get when the show's over. But again, folks, as a reminder, stay tuned to our social platforms, folks, for again all of our schedule updates. As we've already said, though, again, we'll have no programming the week of Thanksgiving. Again, we'll do our best to probably put some clips together, maybe put a show out there that we probably enjoy or enjoy laughing at, pretty much, that we'll put out there for a watch party event on the MI6 Facebook page. And of course, we'll have plenty more discussion about our schedule as more time goes on this week. But again, as a reminder, Monday, 8:30 Pacific time, PM, for the episode of Wild Sports Talk with John Mathis, Isaiah, and myself, again, due to the Bears playing on national television. Again, I don't get to see my Bears play on TV that often here in San Diego. So it'll be a late program for us on the program here on Monday night. And, of course, the NBA draft special at 3:45 Pacific time to kick off the night. And then 4 o'clock for the draft back here on the MI6 Sports Network.
Five-page rant coming tomorrow, fellas. Instead of 4, we're making it 5.
For what?
Who knows? Maybe about the Niners again on that terrible call.
How about a 5-page rant that you write, Isaiah, about how bad the Bears offense has been all season and why Matt Nagy needs to be fired?
I mean, at this point, we're writing articles. Like all my rants, I could just like print them out and just put it on the either the SoCal Sports Chronicle website or the MI6 website. It'll be perfect.
Even though I picked Minnesota to win, please, for the love of God, beat the Vikings tomorrow. Chicago is all I ask. But again, folks, for Isaiah Leung and the entire cast and crew here of the MI6 Sports Network, yours truly, Callan McClurg, and hopefully the Lucky Bears helmet, saying goodnight from San Diego. See you folks again, as mentioned, on Monday night, 8:30 Pacific time, again, due to accommodating me yelling at my Twitter account, watching my Bears play the Vikings and Stephen Wang's hometown ball club on Monday Night Football on the Entertainment Sports and Programming Network, a.k.a. ESPN. Till Monday night, folks, have a good night and have a good week as we, in fact, folks, move on here into the early morning hours on a Monday here today. With that, folks, good night and bye-bye.